Pakupon is a fox. Because apparently, Yuriko, in her infinite retardation, thought that the dog-like creature she was following was a cat. So, you can imagine that Mono revealing this just blows her mind. She stops what she's doing and then does like this. She does like the dramatic squirrel thing where she goes, "What?" And you can just imagine someone on the internet taking that clip, altering the speed of it, and adding the music so that it goes dun dun dun, and it just blows her mind. And then she bursts into laughter for a solid 20 seconds that's broken up in these awkward 3-second pauses between her and Mana. And it was just so bad. But the reason I say Hudson didn't really know what they were doing was, I think this really started when they started throwing Hyper Beast into the equation. The idea that they had was, you would be able to turn into a beast whenever, so long as you had like your beast gauge at least like a fraction full, you could turn into your beast mode. You just wouldn't be able to last as long, health-wise. And you could regenerate health while you were doing this. But with Hyper Beast mode, they started making things time-based. And I actually didn't mind Hyper Beast mode. I just think that's where things started going downhill. Because Hyper Beast mode, the timer freezes when you use it, you become much stronger, and then you also can't use your beast form again for a while. The reason I said that's where it went downhill is because it dramatically screwed up everything that they did for Bloody Roar 4. Bloody Roar 4, what you can do is, and tell me this is not brilliant, you could hit some buttons to completely drain your health bar, to fill up your beast gauge all the way, and go into Hyper Beast mode the entire time. Great! Except for the fact that you can take damage way too easily in the game. Your health and beast bars drain like in a few seconds if someone lets out a combo on you. So it's really one of the most useless things you can do in the game. Because really what you want to do is, my dryer's going off. Really what you want to do is get into beast form and stay in it so that your health bar remains full. Because in addition to being able to drain your health and your beast bar really easily, you can also replenish it very easily. You can basically string together a couple of combos and have a full beast bar. So they don't even have to hit. That's the funny part. But getting back to the stories, what was Hudson doing with Stun? Bloody Roar 2, Stun comes in. He's Stephen Goldberg. He's a scientist. He's been experimented on. He's turned into the insect. Okay. That even offers a plausible explanation as to why he's a non-mammal zoanthrope. Because that's one of the problems with the series. They got jammed into doing, like, dogs, cats, basically a whole bunch of things that were just mammals. And I'll give them credit for trying to get away from that with Reiji, who is the crow in Bloody Roar 4. Even though he's basically like a ripoff of 4 different Tekken players. But don't get me started on Tekken, because I hate that game. Anyway, Stun comes in, then Bloody Roar 3 comes along. For whatever reason, he's wearing part of Bakuryu's costume. Okay. Bloody Roar Primal Fury, by that time, they basically established that his human brain, by this point, is basically like a melted plate of butter. He's basically losing his mind by this point. And then Bloody Roar 4 comes along, and you're thinking, oh god, he's got to be like completely insane at this point. I mean, he's got to be just like a wild animal, but no. He's still talking in perfect English, well, as perfect as Bloody Roar 4's English is going to be. And he's still perfectly civil. And they basically just went back on everything that they were doing with him up to that point. Now, here's something a lot of people don't know. This is just to give you an idea of how insane I really am. I actually went back and started redesigning my own version of Bloody Roar. One where they did not get into this ridiculous magic Gaia tabula stuff. One where they actually went back to the core storyline and explored it fully. One where you actually saw the characters doing stuff for a reason. You know, other than winning money in a tournament. Great. Because that's not been done before. And here's the funny part. I actually made an email with everything that was wrong about Bloody Roar 4. The glitches, the voice acting, the beast system, the story design, the music. The music was horrible in that game. I mean, in any other game it probably would have worked, but for a Bloody Roar game, where they've established that basically instrumental rock was the way that they were going to go with sound design when they came up with that game. That's what they did in 1, 2, 3. They sort of stuck to it in Primal Fury, but they started throwing in a bunch of like jazz fusion stuff, like for the rooftop level. That was okay because it was kind of fitting the setting. But then they also started cutting back, and they got these really crappy MIDI drum kits, and it basically took a whole lot away from the sound. So I made that email, and I sent it to Hudson. And then here's the funny part. I offered to help them not make the Bloody Roar series not suck. And I got an email back from them, from some sort of customer relations thing, which said, "Thank you. We're sorry that you didn't enjoy the game, and we will take your criticism into account. However, we don't take ideas from outside sources." Which made me think, if you're not taking ideas from outside sources, why are you taking my criticism into account? Okay, that's great, thanks. But the funny part is, I then emailed them again, and this was probably really stupid on my part. I emailed them again with part of the idea for this other Bloody Roar that I had designed. And keep in mind, when I say design, I basically mean plot outlines. That's basically what I meant. It was an overall plot outline for what the Bloody Roar game was going to be centered around. And I basically got the exact same thing, minus the whole take your criticism into account thing. And I was so frustrated by this that when I finished it, which I still haven't, because I've been putting it off to do other things like X-Men playthroughs, that when I finished this, I was going to mail it to Hudson headquarters. Now, a lot of you are probably saying that's a really stupid idea in case they actually took it and went with it. But here's the thing.